Once upon a time, there was a father with 3 beautiful daughters who had reached the age of marriage. All 3 sisters had long, silky black hair and strikingly beautiful features. One day, a talented young scholar heard of the 3 sisters and decided he wanted to marry one of them. To show his sincerity, he visited the father. Upon learning that the young man was well educated and virtuous, the father gladly agreed to let him choose one of his daughters to marry. However, the father asked, "I have 3 daughters. Which one do you intend to marry?" At that moment, the young man quietly took out 3 silver hairpins and said, "Sir, may I first give these 3 hairpins to your daughters before making my decision?" The father smiled and agreed, calling his daughters to come forward. When the young man saw the 3 sisters, he realized they were all exceedingly beautiful, making it difficult for him to choose. After some thought, he gave each of them a silver hairpin and said, "You are all so lovely. Please allow me to think it over tonight. Tomorrow, when we meet again, I ask that each of you wear the hairpin in your hair. I will make my decision then." Having said this, the young man politely took his leave. After he left, the 3 sisters were filled with joy. They had long heard of his reputation, and after meeting him in person, admired him even more, each wishing to become his bride. Back in their rooms, the sisters quickly placed their hairpins on their dressing tables, admiring them carefully and imagining how they would adorn themselves to meet the young man the next day. Suddenly, a sparrow flew into the eldest sister's room, swooped down to the dressing table, and snatched her hairpin before flying away. The eldest sister panicked, thinking that if she didn't have the silver hairpin, the young man would not choose her. In her desperation, she sneaked into the second sister's room and took her hairpin. When the second sister discovered her hairpin was missing, she became equally distressed. Eventually, she took the youngest sister's hairpin while the latter was unaware. The next morning, the young man arrived to meet the 3 sisters, who began preparing themselves. The youngest sister soon realized her hairpin was missing. Despite searching everywhere, she couldn't find it and had no choice but to accept the situation. After the sisters finished dressing, they met the young man. To their surprise, he had a sparrow perched on his shoulder, holding a silver hairpin in its beak. When the eldest sister saw the sparrow, her face turned red with embarrassment. She wanted to speak, but said nothing. The young man noticed the youngest sister wasn't wearing her hairpin and asked, "Why are you not wearing the hairpin I gave you?" The youngest sister gently replied, "This morning, as I was preparing, I discovered that my hairpin was missing. I searched everywhere but couldn't find it. I'm truly sorry." Hearing this, the young man burst into laughter and said, "So, the hairpin my sparrow took was yours?" The youngest sister was puzzled. The young man explained, "Yesterday, after meeting the 3 of you, I didn't know whom to choose. Coincidentally, I had this sparrow, so I let it choose for me. I decided to marry the one whose hairpin the sparrow took. Therefore, you are the one I've chosen. It must be fate." He then took the silver hairpin and placed it in the youngest sister's hair. At that moment, the eldest sister's face turned pale, and she remained silent. The second sister lowered her head and sighed deeply in regret. Life lesson. Sometimes, life's losses and disappointments are merely turning points in our destiny. Don't dwell on temporary setbacks. They may just be fate's way of playing a little joke on you. In everyone's life journey, there will inevitably be moments of dissatisfaction. Owning a silver hairpin doesn't guarantee a better destiny than losing one. You lose something in the East, but gain something in the West. If your life has imperfections, don't rush to despair. Be patient and wait, as the ending often holds unexpected surprises. No one has a perfect life. Regrets and losses are part of existence. Although life may not be flawless, these imperfections give it depth and make it complete. As the saying goes, if you want eternal happiness, seek it in pain. If you want perfection, find it in imperfection. This saying may seem pessimistic, but it is actually optimistic. Often our joy and sorrow, perfection and flaws, are just matters of perspective. If you understand that life inherently has its ups and downs, uncertainties and imperfections, you can face it with calm and poise. If you enjoyed this story, like and share the video to reflect with your friends. See you in the next video.